I was out on the porch wrestling with a string of Christmas lights that seemed determined to defy my attempts at untangling. The crisp winter air bit at my nose, and I shivered as I fumbled with the stubborn knot. The sun had long set, casting a dark, velvety blanket over the neighborhood. As I grappled with the lights, I heard the faint jingle of bells in the distance. I looked up, squinting into the night. That's when I saw him. A silhouette of a man bundled up in a tattered coat, with a worn-out hat pulled low over his face. He was standing under the lamppost across the street, and for a moment, I thought he was just another passerby, but then he started singing, jingle bells, jingle all the way. His voice was low and raspy, carrying through the cold air. It sent a chill down my spine, and not just because of the weather. I couldn't make out his features in the dim light, but something about him made my skin prickle. Real carolers were supposed to be cheerful, weren't they? This guy, he was more like a shadowy figure in a horror movie. Trying to shake off the unease, I focused on the lights again, but as I worked, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Glancing over my shoulder, I found the caroler had moved closer, still singing in that eerie tone. He seemed to be circling the lamppost, never taking his eyes off me. I cleared my throat awkwardly. Thanks for the caroling, but we're good here. Got our own festive tunes." No response. He just kept singing, his eyes fixed on mine. I felt a knot tighten in my stomach, but I chalked it up to holiday stress and the late-night spookiness. I decided to ignore him, focusing on finishing my decorating. With the lights finally untangled, I began stringing them along the porch railings. Every now and then, I stole a glance at the caroler. He was still there, his eyes never leaving me. The song had changed, now a haunting rendition of Silent Night. It was like he was trying to suck the joy out of the season. I muttered to myself, this guy must really love Christmas carols, or maybe he's auditioning for some musical. Either way, it's creeping me out. As I reached for another set of lights, I heard a soft creak behind me. I turned slowly, my heart pounding. There he was, now standing at the edge of the porch. The dim light revealed a face weathered by time, with hollow eyes that seemed to pierce through the darkness. "Good evening," he mumbled, his breath visible in the cold air. Hi, enjoying the decorations?" I replied, my attempt at casual banter falling flat. He didn't answer, just continued staring. I felt a bead of sweat forming on my forehead despite the chill in the air. My hand fumbled with the lights, nerves getting the best of me. I needed to get inside, away from this strange caroler. I excused myself. "Well, it's been real, but I gotta get back inside. Have a good night, mister." I left the porch in a hurry, glancing back once to find him still standing there. The singing had stopped, replaced by an eerie silence. I locked the door behind me, convincing myself it was just a weird encounter. Over the next few days, the strange caroler became a regular presence. Every time I stepped outside, he was there, circling the house like a vulture. I tried to ignore it, dismissing him as a harmless eccentric. But the unease lingered, a constant shadow in the back of my mind. One night, as I was finishing up the last of the inside decorations, I saw him again. This time, he was standing on the other side of the window, staring in. I froze, our eyes locking. The caroler's expression was unreadable, but his gaze sent shivers down my spine. I summoned the courage to confront him, flinging the door open. "What's your deal, man? Why are you always hanging around here?" He didn't answer, just continued to stare. Frustration bubbled within me, and I took a step forward, demanding an explanation. That's when I noticed something unsettling. His reflection in the window wasn't there. Panic set in as I spun around, searching for any sign of the caroler. He had vanished. I shook my head, convinced it was a trick of the light, but the nagging feeling of dread persisted. Days turned into nights, and the strange caroler became a nocturnal fixture. No matter the hour, he lurked in the shadows, his presence growing more unsettling with each passing encounter. I began to question my sanity, wondering if I was the only one who saw him. Desperation led me to confide in my neighbor, hoping for some reassurance or an explanation. But as I described the caroler's strange behavior, a look of concern crossed my neighbor's face. "You've seen him too," she whispered, her eyes wide with fear. It turned out I wasn't alone. The entire neighborhood was haunted by the mysterious caroler. Everyone had their own chilling encounters, the unsettling feeling of being watched. Rumors circulated about the caroler, but nobody could explain why he targeted our neighborhood. Fear spread like wildfire, with each resident sharing their own spine-tingling tale. As Christmas approached, the tension in the neighborhood reached a fever pitch. Decorations were taken down, and holiday cheer was replaced by a collective sense of dread. Nobody dared to venture outside after dark, fearing the haunting presence of the caroler. On Christmas Eve, I sat in my darkened living room peering through the curtains. The neighborhood was silent, a stark contrast to the festive celebrations that usually filled the air. As the sun started setting, a faint jingle of bells echoed in the distance. I walked onto my front porch. I held my breath, waiting for the caroler to appear, and appear he did, rushing towards me with an unsettling determination. Panic seized me as I stumbled back, barely managing to get inside and slam the door shut. The caroler pounded on the door, muttering something about warmth, his eerie singing now replaced by a guttural growl. I fumbled for the lock, my hands shaking. The caroler's relentless pounding echoed through the house, sending shivers down my spine. As I finally secured the door, I sank to the floor, gasping for breath. The caroler continued to rage outside, his presence haunting the silent night. Soon, the distant wail of sirens pierced the air. The police arrived, responding to the frantic calls of terrified residents. They found the caroler still pounding on my door, his face contorted in a twisted rage. The officers swiftly apprehended him, his eerie muttering silenced as they led him away. Christmas had never felt so chilling, the festive spirit replaced by a lingering fear that clung to the neighborhood like a ghostly shadow. The mysterious caroler had left an indelible mark on our holiday memories. December nights are supposed to be filled with the warm glow of Christmas lights and the joyous sounds of holiday cheer. That's how it should be. But my December nights took a turn for the chilling when I noticed something strange happening to my outdoor Christmas decorations. It all began innocently enough, but each night brought a new level of creepy designs and words that left me questioning my sanity. The first night was subtle. I glanced out of my living room window, sipping hot cocoa and admiring the twinkling lights I had carefully arranged on the bushes. Everything looked normal until I noticed a slight rearrangement in the pattern. A snowman figure that had been on the right side of the display had moved to the left. I brushed it off, blaming the wind or perhaps an enthusiastic neighborhood kid. The following evening, I took extra care in arranging my decorations, making sure everything was secure. I went to bed with a sense of satisfaction, thinking I had nipped the strange occurrence in the bud. But when I woke up the next morning and peered through the frosty window, I was met with an unsettling surprise. The snowman figure from the previous night had now positioned itself in front of the miniature Santa Claus cutout, creating a bizarre scene that Santa should never do. I shook my head, convinced it was a prank. I adjusted the decorations back to their original places, laughing off the unease that lingered in the pit of my stomach. As the days passed, the bizarre events increased. Each night brought a new arrangement, each more unsettling than the last. Reindeer figures formed an eerie circle, as if engaged in a sinister ritual. The lights spelling joy were rearranged to spell doom, creeped me out. I found myself dreading the evenings, wondering what unsettling scene awaited me outside. My efforts to catch the culprit were in vain. I stayed up late peering through the curtains, but the cunning decorator remained elusive. I even considered setting up a camera, but the fear of catching something far more sinister than a prankster kept me from doing so. The unsettling designs began to take on a more personal touch. One night, the Christmas lights formed the outline of a sinister face, complete with hollow eyes and a twisted grin. It felt like the decorations were mocking me, playing with my sanity. I couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching, orchestrating this bizarre display for their own amusement. My frustration grew, and my attempts to find a rational explanation proved futile. Friends and neighbors dismissed my concerns, attributing it to the stress of the holiday season. But I knew there was something more sinister at play. The breaking point came when I woke up to find the words "Can't Hide" spelled out in twinkling lights across my front yard. Panic set in as I scanned the neighborhood for any signs of the mysterious decorator. Paranoia consumed me, and the once festive decorations now felt like a chilling omen. Desperation led me to take drastic measures. I removed the decorations entirely, hoping that by eliminating the canvas I could put an end to the unsettling artistry that plagued my home. But as I dismantled the last strand of lights, a bone-chilling whisper echoed in the cold night air. "You can't escape." At the edge of my lawn, obscured by the shadows, I saw a figure standing there silhouetted against the night. And then, as if evaporating into the night, the figure disappeared, leaving me paralyzed with fear. Terrified, I retreated into my home, locking doors and windows as if that could shield me from an unseen threat. Sleep became a distant memory as the dread of the night consumed me. I questioned my sanity, wondering if I had fallen victim to some elaborate prank or if a darker force was at play. In the days that followed, I lived in constant fear. The memory of those unsettling decorations etched into my mind. Friends and family dismissed my experiences as the result of holiday stress, but the words and images haunted me. I became a prisoner in my own home, afraid to venture outside after dark. The mysterious decorator never revealed themselves, leaving me with a lingering sense of unease. The Christmas season, once a time of joy and celebration, had transformed into a nightmare. As the holiday lights of the neighborhood continued to shine, I couldn't shake the feeling that something sinister lurked in the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. A few days back, I decided to embrace the winter and build a snowman. I figured it'd be a nice way to pass the time and spread some festive cheer in the neighborhood. I am bundled up like a snow ninja, gloves on and all set to create a masterpiece in my front yard. The snow is fresh, that powdery goodness you dream about when winter rolls around. The kind that squeaks under your boots, announcing the arrival of the season. Now the thing about building a snowman is you're rolling that snowball, watching it grow, feeling a sense of accomplishment as you stack them up. My snowman was going to be the envy of the block, classic carrot nose and coal eyes. Once I've got the basic structure in place, I decide to liven it up a bit. I found a discarded scarf in my closet, a stylish touch for my frozen friend. The hat? Well, that comes from an old box tucked away in the attic. I dust it off and put it on his head. Night falls and I'm sitting by the window admiring my handiwork. The street lamp casts a glow, turning my snowman into a festive figure in the moonlit landscape. Everything's serene, peaceful even. Morning comes and I step outside, coffee in hand, ready to bask in the glory of my snowman. But wait, something's off. There's this eerie energy in the air, and as my eyes scan the frosty creation, I spot it. A creepy doll head perched on top of my snowman's snowy crown where the hat used to be. One of those antique doll heads with its peeling paint and a vacant gaze. What the heck? I mutter to myself, convinced it's just some prank by the neighborhood kids. I pull the doll head off, toss it in the trash, and brush it off as a weird but harmless prank, and put the hat back on. The next night, I'm cozied up on the couch watching It's a Wonderful Life. That's when I hear it, the unmistakable sound of tapping on my window. Slow, deliberate taps like someone's playing a creepy tune on the glass. I looked and didn't see anyone. I went outside and there it is, a porcelain hand protruding from the snowman's chest. I approached cautiously and my heart raced as I reached for the hand, pulling it out to discover a tiny note clutched in its frozen fingers. Tick-tock, time to play. The porcelain hand, the cryptic note. It's all too much. I glance around, half expecting some masked figure to jump out of the shadows, but there's nothing. The bizarre events escalate with each passing night. A music box appears perched on the snowman's shoulder, playing a haunting melody that echoes through the stillness of the night. The notes send shivers down my spine, and I'm left wondering who's orchestrating this twisted symphony. I decided to document these strange occurrences, taking pictures of each unsettling addition to my snowman. The doll head, the porcelain hand, the eerie music box. Each night, a new chapter unfolds. The anticipation builds, and I find myself glancing nervously out the window, half expecting the snowman to come to life. Then the whispers start, soft, hushed voices conspiring in the darkness outside my window. I rush to investigate, and there they are, photos plastered on the snowman's frozen body. Pictures of me, taken all around town, a haunting timeline of my life. I tear them off, feeling exposed and vulnerable. The final straw comes in the form of a note on the back of every photo. I know you. 3 simple words, so creepy. I'm unraveling, unsure of who's behind this complex mind game, toying with me through my innocent snowman. I decided it's time to take matters into my own hands. Armed with determination and a shaky hand, I set up a video camera near my window facing the snowman. One of those cheap ones you use for home security, hoping it'll catch whatever sick individual is messing with my winter wonderland. Night falls, and I'm huddled inside, eyes glued to the live feed on my screen. The snowman stands tall, gloomy in the moonlight, waiting for its nightly makeover. I'm ready to catch this intruder red-handed, or in this case, snow-handed. Hours pass, and the camera captures the stillness of the night. I'm on the edge of my seat, waiting for the bizarre show to begin. And then, it happens. The snowman starts twitching. Okay, not really, but it feels like it. I'm convinced I'm losing it, but the video shows nothing out of the ordinary. Suddenly, the scene takes a turn for the surreal. A figure appears cloaked in darkness, adding the next creepy installment to my snowman. The camera struggles to capture a clear image. I zoom in, squinting at the grainy footage, hoping to catch a glimpse of the face behind the madness, but no luck. It's frustrating. As the figure finishes its creepy masterpiece, it retreats into the shadows, leaving me with more questions than answers. I'm torn between relief and frustration, knowing that I'm dealing with someone who knows how to stay hidden. It's like they're toying with me, playing a twisted game. Defeated but determined, I ventured outside to confront my snowman nemesis, but he was gone. The camera remains a witness to the eerie events, a silent observer capturing the bizarre occurrences that have invaded my once peaceful winter nights. In a fit of desperation, I dismantle the snowman, tearing it apart piece by piece, hoping to break the mysterious connection between its frozen form and the unsettling events plaguing my nights. I lock my doors, double-check the windows, and yet the lingering sense of dread refuses to dissipate. Will the bizarre saga of my snowman continue, or have I successfully stopped whoever has taken an unsettling interest in my life?